Okay, yeah, it should be recording now.
It didn't say this meeting is being recorded. Oh, I see it. Never mind.
It's working?
I think it's being
Yeah, that's
recorded.
good.
Okay. Oh. Should College Athletes Get Paid by Jacob Allen, Angel, Catherine, and Darion. See.
So for our personal bias, Jacob said that he played college football at Millsaps University his freshman year before transferring to Tech. He said he could relate to the struggle of constant workouts and still having to focus on school. Darion is a regular student and knows that it's hard to keep a certain GPA to maintain certain academic scholarships, but having to be in class all morning, go to work right after, still have to complete schoolwork, and getting off work is exhausting. Angel said that she was a former athlete, but not a college athlete, and she believes athletes should not make money, but believe that a fully paid scholarship is a form of payment. I personally work at Louisiana Tech with athletes. I work in budgeting and scholarship assignment, so I kind of know how hard it is to work through all that, but I'm also a regular student, and any money that I make from school comes from my academic success. Why we chose this topic: college student athletes generate millions of dollars in profit for schools, coaches, and conferences and network executives. Under current NCAA regulation, compensation for student athletes is limited to scholarships for their education. Meanwhile, universities enter multi-million-dollar deals with cable networks and athletic brands, all of which profit from using athletes' images in marketing campaigns, apparel sales, and ticket sales, among other revenue.
Okay, so for why student athletes should be paid, college athletic scholarships I found do not cover the full expenses of a student. They can at D1 levels, but it's still been reported that they don't cover all the expenses. And I know for a fact at D2 and D3 it drops off even more with how much is covered. So from the Bleacher Report source, the scholarship covers most of the expenses, but some of the estimated actual cost of living are up to $1,500 more than covered, since most will never play a sport professionally. They actually accumulate debt in school. Two prime examples of this are AJ Green and Terrell Pryor. Both sold memorabilia for relatively small amounts of money, but it also said that they came from poor backgrounds, so whatever the scholarship couldn't provide, they had to provide it for themselves. So by doing this, Green missed the first 4 games of the 2010 season, and Pryor missed the first 5 games of all next year. Both bring in a ton of money into their respective universities, and yet we're desperate for money. And incidences like this happen all the time. These student athletes are either going through tough workouts, practice, or a game every day of the year. On top of challenging college courses, their time is constantly being demanded. If scholarship doesn't cover the full expenses of the student after their rigorous schedule, this leaves them little time and energy to obtain a job in order to pay off their debts. College football is a multi-billion-dollar industry that should at least ensure full compensation to cover student athlete expenses in return for their full athletic capability, in which they profit greatly. Overall, I just believe students should be paid in the form of scholarship based on like the income of that sport. Here's an example, and this chart's by the Business Insider. This all these recordings were done in 2017, and this just shows by sport how much they profit on average. So the fact is that like college athletics is used as a business. The school makes profit off a player's name, image, and likeness. This is a part of signing your athletic scholarship. Whenever I went to Millsaps, you didn't sign any scholarships. They could give you some academic scholarships, but you still had to sign NCAA papers saying that you can't take money. Like, it's just part of it. You have to sign it if you're associated with NCAA. And this is and I believe that if there was a fair balance of pay based on the amount of revenue a specific player brings in, it could work paying student athletes. This graph alone represents the average income of sport in 2017, and that was 4 years ago. This pay system is given to professional athletes. If TV ratings or revenue are due to specific sports and players, then I believe they should be paid accordingly. And on top of that, injury rates are high in this highly competitive setting. And if a student athlete is injured and this prevents them from reaching the professional level, then they may never be paid for their abilities and accomplishments in college.
The reason college athletes should not get paid is that if student athletes were to get paid, there wouldn't be enough money to pay each sport or individual equally. This would cause controversy because some sports would feel unappreciated and not get the same funding compared to other sports funding. And that goes the same with individuals themselves. Also, students are supposed to be in school to learn. Student comes before athlete in the word student athlete. Student athletes should not get paid because they are in school for an education, not a sports career. Also, college athletes get athletic scholarships, which are much greater in value than academic scholarships. Most athletic scholarships cover housing, tuition, fees, and meal plans for student athletes, which is much more than what most academic scholarships cover. Some students have to struggle to pay for college as it is, so paying college athletes is taking money out of regular students' pockets because universities would have to give funding to pay student athletes, which is ultimately decreasing academic funding scholarships. This is a graph to show the D1 schools, their amount of spending per student and their amount of spending per athlete. And ultimately, they usually spend up to 12 times more per athlete than a student on academics.
I'm speaking from an unbiased opinion, and it says that college athletes spend up to 40 hours a week traveling, practicing, and playing. Most athletes don't have time to get an actual job while in school and sports, but those that do are on a constraint for time. Colleges make billions of dollars in revenue from ticket sales, sponsorships, TV deals, etc., and they get nothing from it. College athletes also aren't allowed to make money off their name, image, likeness, ads, or merchandise. Some argue that student athletes are being used, robbed, and cheated. Here's a graph of revenue of NCAA by segment from 2012 to 2020. Of course, you can see in 2020, COVID kind of diminished things, but they make most of their money off of television and marketing rights fees. And if they're making billions of dollars, millions and billions, I feel like athletes have some right to that. But colleges do award over $2.9 billion in athletic scholarships to players each year. So technically, they are getting some form of payment. Athletes typically do get perks like first choice in registering for classes, housing, meal plans, study hall, and free printing and tutoring. Critics also argue that student athletes should be focused on earning degrees, not profits.
After hearing all the research, it has opened up my thoughts and my opinions on the issue. Should college athletes get paid? Now I believe that college athletes should get paid because, like previously said, college athletes are bringing millions of dollars to colleges off of ticket sales and fans buying merchandise. And college athletes do not make any money off of this or their image while in college.
And here are references for our presentation. And that pretty much sums it up. Should college athletes get paid?